Hey guys, Brandon McCaskill here, bringing you another video in the hopes to inform and encourage you to stick to your guns when it comes to standing up for your freedom here in Canada. If you're new here, I want to welcome you and invite you to subscribe so that you can be alerted when things happen on this channel. I do interviews, update you on the latest things happening, and most importantly, I make videos like the one you're watching right now that are short, to the point, and easy to share with your friends and family. That said, let's get right into today's topic. A lot of us know by now that the Government of Canada is pushing through a new legislation through a bill called S233, which is sold and advertised as Universal Basic Income. Another way they say it is a Guaranteed Livable Basic Income, which it sounds really awesome, and they're sure not shy about telling you why it's awesome. Just imagine, they'll tell you, a system that will reduce poverty, broaden income equality, and improve physical and mental health. It'll lead to positive job growth and lower school dropout rates. It will guarantee income for non-working parents and caregivers. You can be sure that millions of Canadians will grab hold of this. And why wouldn't they? All those benefits I just mentioned, those are really great things. I personally believe giving money to Canadians is so much better than wasting it in other areas that benefit politicians alone. But the question is, are those benefits I just mentioned all there is to know about this? I think you know where I'm going with this, and the answer is no. There's a lot to be aware of, and we need to zoom out and look at this from a 10,000-foot view. Like I said, I think the benefits of UBI are really attractive, but there's also downsides. I'll actually leave a link in the description of this video so you can read about some of the flip sides to having a universal basic income. But let's move on to another question, and this is specifically for what's happening in Canada. Are there other things at play that contribute to Bill 233?
The word is yes, Carl.
The Government of Canada is implementing a digital ID, which is intended to reduce costs for renewing physical forms of ID and to make it more convenient for people who don't like carrying physical ID. You can download your driver's license, your health information, and yeah, they also sell this as innocent, claiming that your digital information will only be stored on your phone and your wallet app, having no connection to a central data collection system. Also, that you have the choice to use this digital ID. They say you can choose to remain using physical forms of ID. So once again, this all sounds okay. I mean, me personally, this wasn't the #1 pet peeve I've had as a Canadian citizen, but I get that it's convenient and it's understandable how it would reduce costs of having to renew driver's licenses and that kind of thing. But the giant question mark here should be, can we take them at their word that our information will not be monitored? It's a fair and not so foreign question, considering we recently just saw our government freeze bank accounts of Canadian citizens all over the country for daring to financially donate to what a judge has ruled as a lawful, peaceful protest, which also means that evoking the Emergency Act was totally inappropriate. So if our government was willing to overreach on citizens that they disagreed with politically here, why are we to believe that they'll leave us alone in the case of keeping our information private? I'm not done building on this, but before I expand on this, let's get into one more thing that's also coming down the pipe in relation to Bill S233 and digital ID, and that is the implementation of a social credit system. This system is being used in Communist China right now. It's a data collection apparatus that keeps the government informed on a lot more data than paying your bills on time. It's much like any credit system, but this expands it to specific activity, like if you're caught jaywalking. If you don't pay a court bill, play your music too loud on the train, you could lose certain rights, such as booking a flight or train ticket. So the goal would be to make the mommy and daddy government gods happy by maintaining a healthy credit score. Now, even some of these things could be argued as good for society. Why wouldn't we want to crack down on things that disrupt positive growth of society? But let's take a step back again. This type of power in anybody's hands opens the door for what we are already seeing with our leaders. They act on politics and not on principle. So what does that mean for some of us who refuse to make certain medical decisions that these same governments despise? I say despise because they truly do, and they've continually groomed the public to think and feel the same way.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
The overwhelming majority, close to 90% of Canadians, have done exactly that. The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing Il est en train d'hésiter un petit peu, on va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre, mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Ils sont extrémistes.
Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère?
So let me ask you this. What does a social credit score, combined with a digital ID and a universal basic income, look like for someone who doesn't want to make that medical choice? Or simply someone who holds different political views than this government that we know reacts politically? I have one more thing to add before we wrap this up. In Canada, we're also going to be seeing the introduction of a government-controlled, centralized cryptocurrency. And this is coming very soon, so I think it's very important that we all start doing our homework on what's coming our way. This move by our government transitions everything we know about our physical money, so coins or plastic bills, and converts them to a digital currency that they can monitor and control. If you think this is too outlandish, then you should visit Canada's Wonderland. They've already gone cashless. And we have people like the NIH pointing out that paper money and coins are potential vectors of transmissible disease. So, yeah, as I'm sure you guessed, digital currency is sold as a wonderful, convenient tool. It'll combat money laundering, reduce crime, yada yada yada. But we're still left with this shattered trust that we have in the players that are calling the shots. So let's ask one more question. What does it look like for a Canadian citizen, one the government despises? What does it look like for them in a social credit system, combined with a digital ID and a universal basic income in the form of government-controlled currency? It all comes down to trust. There is virtually no reason to trust this government wouldn't overreach their hands towards citizens that they disagree with. They've segregated their political opponents by implementing policies and using rhetoric that divided communities against communities and families against families. This wasn't about your health, this wasn't about science. Their goal has already been laid out. Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum brags about penetrating over half of Trudeau's cabinet. They're open about this. This is the new world they want. They're calling it the Great Reset. And it's all about silencing the opposition, pushing forward an agenda, and maintaining power and control. Our democracy has died. But guess who hasn't? You and I. We can still take actions. We can still make these truths known. So let's continue to rise, engage the conversation, and wake this country up. There's still so many of us sleeping in this country, despite the loudness of those truckers' horns. So hold the line, folks. Get out there, share this video with a friend, and of course, if you don't mind, do all the things the algorithm loves to push my video farther out there by liking, commenting, subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.